That's how it's done. That's what we do. You don't have to lie. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to be scared. You just got to go and get the deal, man. You just got to be confident.
Hello.
Hey, is this Tony?
It is.
Tony, this is Mike Gomes. How are you?
Got it.
Cool, brother. Well, tell me about the Cranston property.
Okay, so I bought that the last recession, guesstimating 2010-ish. That house, all the houses that I bought were either foreclosures or estate sales. That's just how I did it back then.
Cool. So what was the deal with the tenants now?
Basically, they're just going to have to leave. And I already told them once I says I'm not going to do anything until I nail down with you guys what it is, and they said, we understand.
Where were you and Felipe at on numbers together?
Okay, so the price for the house, $240. I was $250, but I don't care. $10,000 doesn't change my life, honestly. So good enough for me. I told them what I had wanted was, if you guys are going to close in 30 days, no big deal. Let's just have an agreement, some kind of a down payment that's non-refundable. You cannot back out on me if I get rid of them.
What have you and Felipe gone over, like, as far as the best strategy and the best way to go about this?
What I just told you is exactly what I told him. There's nothing different. And that's why I always keep my story the same, because you don't have to have a good memory.
Right.
You always tell the truth. It is what it is.
Bro, you can't lie. It's like once you do, it's a wrap. When you
That's
start
it.
chasing your tail around like a
I don't have any
crazy
notes
person.
written down anywhere or anything like that. I don't have to think about what I told him. I already know what was in my head. I already know what I wanted, and it has not changed.
So it sounds like to me, you and Felipe were talking about a 240 number, and Felipe was like, hey, we could potentially do 240 if you give us a few months to get into the property, put some love into it, and put it on the market. Once that is done, then we'll get you your 240 after that process. Or we could try to get you your 240 right away.
Yeah,
Got
because
it.
he goes, well, because we went to 250. He came back with the offer of 240. I says, 240 works.
So what are your thoughts on waiting 5 months?
I don't need the money. So if I'm waiting 5 months, as long as I'm getting interest, I don't care. But if, like I told him, if it's going to be more than 5 months, and that gets more into a long-term loan, then I would want something, whether it's a couple of points or something like that.
Okay, cool. So pretty much you're saying like, hey, I'd be willing to wait a good, 5 or 6 months for you guys to turn the property over. In return, I'd want interest payment over the course of the next 5 or 6 months, and then I'd be okay. Yeah, we could do that. Here are my thoughts. At a 240 number, the numbers are super, super tight in order for us to buy it in cash. Just because, just like you're talking about hard money, that's how we buy every single one of our properties, because we're doing multiple deals at a time.
Yes.
So we'll go out to our private and hard money lenders. They'll charge us points and interest, just like you're talking about, which ultimately cut into our deal. And then we got to pay the attorneys and the realtors and all that type of stuff. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll just say, hey, instead of all of our lenders and our attorneys making all the money, why don't we just get that back in you guys' pocket? We'll come in with our money to do the renovations. We'll come in with our team to facilitate all that. And then once that process is done, we'll put the property on the market with our realtors. We'll cover all the closing costs and realtor fees and concessions that come along with listing the property on the market later on in the next 4 or 5 months. Once that is done, then the 240 that you got is in your pocket, and whatever interest payments you got is also in your pocket as well.
Yes.
Yeah, before we would go ahead and do any renovations, would either do one of two things. Would either pull our own insurance policy on it or just be an additional insured on your insurance. Just kind of depends, either or works before we do any work to it. Here are my thoughts. The numbers are super tight if we were going to buy it in cash at 240. However, I think they're fairly close. So the path of least resistance is for us to buy it in cash at 240 and go on about our day. Like that would be the easiest, cleanest thing to do for both you and I. Not saying that the first option isn't clean and easy, because it is, but it's just the quickest, essentially, especially for you. So I think that there's an opportunity for that. I'm like maybe 75% sure that we would be able to do it at 240. And I am like 95% sure that we'd be able to do the partnership agreement at 240. So I'm thinking we would know regardless in like maybe 7 to 10 days which option we would end up taking. I'm confident right now. I earnest money down and do all the stuff for the partnership program. I'm very confident that those numbers would work, just seeing the pictures and stuff. We can make that happen. The second option of us buying it in cash, I think that's just much easier. So I think what we can do is I'll have the team send you over an agreement that it just allows us to do both transactions And in the 15 days that we're in our inspection period, where we're having a couple people come check it out, some of our partners and stuff, we'll let you know. After the 15 days is up, we'll let you know which option we are taking, and we'll go from there. And that's at the end of the 15 days is also when you can inform the tenants that, hey, you know, this is definitely moving forward, because after the 15 days is when the earnest money that we put down would go non-refundable, and we wouldn't be able to get that back. That would be our skin in the game, like set in stone.
Yes, excellent. All right, well, that's good to know.
And what we can do is, if it ends up being the cash option, we'll know that like fairly quicker. We'll know that in the first like 7 days. We'll tell you that right away.
Okay.
So what it'll take is I'll have the team send you over an agreement. This agreement essentially just like gets us dating. Once the inspection period ends, then we'll have the attorneys like really start working on all the other back end paperwork, and we'll make sure the insurance gets put in place and all that type of stuff. End of the agreement is where you see the most important stuff. That's where you see the earnest money is non-refundable after that inspection period. And then on the first line, you also see that if we elect to novate the contract, that is just verbiage for if we elect to do the partnership program, we'll be charged 6% annualized interest only payments until close. Yeah, so that's if we ended up doing the partnership program, we'll be charged the 6% interest. And that's it.
That sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. And then if you scroll all the way down to the right, you'll see where it says signature. You'll just hit that.
Okay.
Alrighty, we're locked in, brother. Alrighty?
All right.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Tony, you're the man.
Yes.
Yep. Likewise.
All right.
Bye-bye. That's how you lock up a deal, man. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. That's what we do. We just lock up deals over here. You don't have to lie. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to be scared. You just got to go and get the deal, man. You just got to be confident. There was one thing that I was doing that whole entire time, and it was just being confident. That's what ultimately led to him being so okay with just signing without any hassle. Be confident, and you will be the one that gets that deal. It is your obligation to make your client feel comfortable in the transaction. Do not spook them out, and you make them feel confident by you being confident. They need to be comfortable and confident that you can get the deal done. This is how we lock up deals, baby. Let's go.